And you certainly don't want when you're waiting to spin in your friggin' head, okay, all the time. Even before we go into the how of getting this introverted ex back, first I just want to ask, do you even want them back? Because a lot of times we want our ex back, not because we want our ex back. We want our ex back so that we don't have to be alone, so that we don't have to get out there dating again. How to get an introverted ex back. Alana Pratt here, intimacy expert. I was just trying to think. I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm definitely very extroverted because I have my podcast and I do these videos and I love to show up and do speeches and support my clients. And yet I actually replenish alone, or at least alone with the horses, alone in nature. So your introverted ex might even seem quite boisterous out in the world, but they replenish alone. And if they replenish alone, they, or even if they don't feel like going out as much in the world either, and you are like, hey, what's wrong? Can we get back together? They're going to, like, that's not how they roll. So it's going to require you to be okay in your aloneness, to give them patience and space to process at their pace, not your pace. Your pace might be faster. You might actually process through talking to people. They might process alone, meditating in nature, being by themselves for even a longer period of time than it takes you. So right out of the gate, they're not wrong and bad. You're not wrong and bad. Nobody's wrong and bad. We're all just wired the way we're wired. So you want to know that they probably will not appreciate poke, and they probably will appreciate spaciousness. But you don't want to give them so much spaciousness that they think you've moved on or you move on, right? And you certainly don't want when you're waiting to spin in your friggin' head, okay, all the time. So even before we go into the how of getting this introverted ex back, first I just want to ask, do you even want them back? Because a lot of times we want our ex back, not because we want our ex back. We want our ex back so that we don't have to be alone, so that we don't have to get out there dating again, so that we don't have to face telling everybody. None of these reasons have anything to do with that poor other person. It has everything to do with your insecurities. So have a look, Buttercup. What's the real reason? Because if it's any of those other reasons, that's a disservice to them and to you to get back together for all the wrong reasons. Okay? They're not a commodity to make so you don't have to face your pain or heal your wounds. Okay? If the real reason is that, no, I know in my bones, I know in my blood, this is my person. And I messed up. And they probably did too. But we're going to work with the living, the one who asked the question, that there was something that you needed to grow about, evolve about, clean up, let go, something. Most people break up because there was an unworkable dynamic going on where one person or both people weren't willing to own it and grow. There's this song by Sarah, I can't say her last name, Barrel. She has this incredible voice, and it talks about wanting to grow beside each other as opposed to break up and grow. There's no right way or wrong way. But for this situation, in terms of getting back together, especially with an introverted ex, I would send a letter, not need to talk in person. I would give them their time to read that letter. And I would own where it is, without any blame, where you could have done better, what you've learned, what steps you're taking to make up for the damage done. Like literally sign up and do coaching with me. Like literally get into a group coaching program about relationships, like an action. Because words, actions. So clean up your side of the fence. Do your work. Take action. Don't wait for them to get back together in order to take action. Because that's more manipulation. Okay? It's like I get that I have, for example, jealousy and that I overreact all the time and it's pushed you away. So much so that you don't even want to talk to me right now. And then acknowledge you have every right not to want to talk to me right now. We all process differently. As I sit in my own fire and have a look at this, I realized that this has nothing to do with you. This is the very first relationship I ever had, or this is my daddy issue or my mommy issue. I've signed up for coaching so that I can resolve this once and for all, because it's not fun being me jealous all the time. And it certainly has pushed you away. So I want to say thank you for being brave enough to say, hey, this is unworkable. This needs to change. You're right. And I'm doing the work. And then it would be an invitation at the end of the letter. I would love to go for a cup of coffee, go for a drink, go for dinner, go for a walk, whatever, and talk about what I've learned, because I have even more that I'd like to acknowledge, take ownership for, apologize for, and also create new agreements, new ways we can communicate, new ways that we can be stronger than ever before because of this. Let me know if next week would work for you, a good night that would work for you, or next weekend where we could spend some time together. No attachment, right? That kind of ownership, invitation in a way that an introvert doesn't have to respond on the spot. They can take time to process. And that spaciousness of like, next week, let me know when it works for you. And then a vision of the future, of why you want to talk to them. Not to just assuage your difficulty of being alone. That's not inspiring. But no, I'd like to talk about apologizing and what's the possibility of creating an even stronger future together. Not I need you and all the drama. Maturity, spiritual maturity. That's sexy to a conscious person. Yeah. So people meet in my community all the time, in my group coaching calls, at my retreats, etc. I'm not a matchmaking business. I do have the world's first partnering app, though, HeartMates, because I really do believe that people that do the work, couples that grow together, stay together. I really believe that real relationships require a commitment to growth. And so right out of the gate, I would not encourage you ever to date somebody who doesn't do the work, or you're guaranteed to stay stuck where you're at, get triggered where you're at, fight where you're at, break up, get together, break up, all the drama. I'm not going to recommend that to anybody. So when you come into our programs, whether it's HeartMates and you do the live conscious connection calls and you meet people, whether it's our group coaching calls, whether it's our retreats, just know you're going to be in a like-minded, like-hearted community where your desires for this soul-shaking, incredible relationship aren't batshit crazy. They're normal. That's what all of us are choosing. And we're all willing to do the work to have it. And believe me, once you do the work single and you find your partner, it's not like, okay, one and done. Now I can just lean back. No, there's going to be a whole other layer of shit that arises to fertilize the evolution of your soul. There's going to be more work to do. That's why our HeartMates partnering app starts with HeartMates for singles and it moves into HeartMates for couples. And occasionally, not all the time, but you come in as a HeartMates for couples, and as you get to know more of who you are, you realize, oh my God, our sacred contract is done. I couldn't have got here without you. Thank you. I bless you, and I release you with kindness. And then people move over into HeartMates for singles. So there's no judgment around here. I don't believe that a couple that stays together for 50 years is better than somebody that has 5 different relationships over 50 years. It's not about that. It's about, are you growing and evolving and trying not to hurt too many people on the way? And if you do, because none of us are perfect, we clean up our messes and we look back with no regret. That's what it's about. So it's a safe, non-judgmental place for people to grow into their most conscious selves. So if that resonates with you, check me out more on my website, alanapratt.com. Definitely take our intimacy blind spot assessment. It's complimentary, and it will shine a light on whether you are at a level of intimacy apprentice, intimacy craftsman, craftswoman, or a master artist of intimacy, all of which have blind spots, because we never get there, people. Never. We're always evolving. And so it'll give you insight into what your next blind spot is. So it'll shine a light. So you're like, oh, that's what I need to work on. Now, that's not enough to change shit, because now you just have greater awareness of why things aren't working, but they're still not working. You still need to do the work. We always need to do the work. But it's really nice to know with certainty and clarity that you're going in the right direction, that you're spending your time, energy, and resources going in the direction of resolving what matters to you most. And to me and the people that I hang out with, it's connection, meaningful connection, true, vulnerable, transparent intimacy, meaningful intimacy. It's just so rich. So we invite you. Thank you for your question, and I will see you. Hopefully you've subscribed, and I'll see you on the next video. But also I look forward to seeing you in my site, maybe a contact form. Maybe you respond to one of my videos that I do for my newsletter, which never show up on YouTube. Those are separate videos just for my community, because I get even more vulnerable with my own journey as well. I'm a masterful coach, and I'm a hot mess from time to time. So I'm a student and I'm a teacher. And I believe that is the most balanced way to live our lives. All my love.